Now, the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Thanks to the Detroit Tigers, the dog days of summer weren't too bad here in the state of Michigan. And while the Tigers continue their push for the postseason, football season has arrived in East Lansing. Thanks for tuning in to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show. Michigan State's football team kicks off a brand new season on Friday, August 29th against Western Michigan here at Spartan Stadium. It'll mark the second year for Jonathan Smith leading the program. And while the Spartans have been going through fall camp this month, we had a chance to sit down with Smith to talk more about his team heading into year two. Appreciate you taking the time to do this, getting ready for year two now here at Michigan State. When you think back to last year compared to now this year, what do you feel like is the biggest difference going into year two?
Oh, I think that just so much has been established in regards to our routine, the expectations, the second year in systems, right? So the second year going through it, whether offense, defense, special teams, because I've always been a believer in continuity, and we've done a nice job staff-wise, schematically. Not that we're not making some changes, but just knowing the schemes better, knowing the players better, knew some areas we needed to create more competition position-wise and recruited to that and got a lot here in January, and so we've added some competition. So all of that makes you feel like you're heading in a good direction.
When last season ended, you guys lose to Rutgers. What was sort of the mindset going into the offseason of like what needed to change?
Well, we need to get better. I know that, and in all three phases, again, create more competition in rooms, and really I think about the depth needed in this Big Ten. I mean, 9 conference games, the wear and tear, the travel of that, the good opponents you're playing. We needed to get better, and so yeah, obviously targeted on the recruiting side early on, but then taking a deep look schematically, and making sure we're putting guys in the best positions, and we've took that on from January all the way till whatever it is now, third week August.
When you think about recruiting and just the landscape of the Midwest, the state of Michigan, I guess, how has your perspective of that changed?
Well, there's good football. You just learn more. You try to more and more. There's good high school coaching going on, Michigan, and drivable distance from here. So there's some good players that we're trying to add to our roster and build the roster kind of inside out. Now, it can't be exclusively. There's a lot of differences now in college recruiting from the portal and just nationally, but we want to build the base of our roster from this state and driving distance.
Not many teams in the Big Ten return both their coordinators as well as their starting quarterback. I guess, how does that help you guys right now of really kind of hitting the ground running this year?
We feel good about that in regards to, obviously we want to get better. Let's talk coordinators, both of us have done it at a really high level, and so schematically the schemes are sound and solid, and now we make sure knowing our roster better to put those guys in the best positions. And then, yeah, on the quarterback side, Aiden being able to take a nice jump from year 1 to year 2, some similar to what he did last year during the season, and just improving, making that nice jump. We needed to surround him with some better in regards to more competitive depth, and so we've done that in those particular positions. O-line, we feel like we've added there, receiver-wise, where I think we're in a good place, and Nick Marsh coming back. So there's a lot to the quarterback / the offense taking a nice step, and Aiden will be a big part of that.
With Aiden, he's still very young despite being a junior. He's younger than some sophomores right now, I guess. In a way, where have you seen his maturity grow too?
Just handling adversity, of being a starting quarterback in this league and making some really good plays, and then having some plays that he'd want back and learning from that. I think his composure and how competitive he is, it showed up last year and it will continue this next year.
You feel like last year, in a way, humbled him in a way of knowing what Big Ten football is like and where he needed to make progress? Because I'm sure a lot of times it was just almost easy for him probably in high school.
Yeah, I think he understood the challenge that is Big Ten football, and in year 1 in a new program, new scheme for all of us, right? And so in ways I think it hardened him a little bit and recognized this ain't easy. I don't think he thought it was going to be easy, but actually going through the experience, I think that is. And I got a bunch of respect for him, how he continues to handle it, continues to be about his teammates and things of that nature, never playing some blame game or anything like that.
He's a captain for the second year in a row. What leadership skills has he really just developed over the last few years?
It's interesting. We vote for captains, but what I do, I ask them just to tell me why they're voting for him. Just a quick sentence or a couple of words, and some of the things described in Aiden is, again, connector. People gain respect for him, how he handled going through some ups and downs last year. Aiden wasn't alone. There's 5 guys that got voted captain, and all those guys represent this place, and I think it worked out well. We got a couple guys at the line of scrimmage, a couple guys on defense, offense. Sam Edwards, so impressive. The respect, the way he approaches it, how much Michigan State football means to him. We got a great group of captains.
I wanted to ask, too, about with Jordan Hall being the captain. Obviously, he's always had those leadership skills. I feel like his freshman year, that was something that really spoke highly of him. Where have you seen his growth in terms of not just as a player, but off the field as well to be a leader for this team?
I think he's a great mentor. He's someone that anyone on the roster can go to. I do think they take notice of how he approaches practice and preparing, how he takes care of his body off the field, the activities he's involved in. He's always bringing others along. Excited for Jordan, and I anticipate him having a really, really big year.
Overall, Aiden Childs, Jordan Hall, Matt Golbin, Darius Dunnigan, and Sam Edwards will be the 5 captains this season for the Spartans, who will be in search of their first bowl game appearance since the 2021 season. Coming up after the break, we're going to continue our chat with Smith and talk about a strength of this year's team. We'll see you soon.
When you're shopping, do you get cash back with cash?
Nope.
What about when you use a debit card?
Not a chance.
But when you use MSU FCU's Cashback Plus?
Heck yeah.
Get up to 20% cash back on your purchases with Cashback Plus. Dining out? Cash back. Online shopping? Cash back. Home improvement? Cash back. Discover more at msufcu.org/cashbackplus.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
If there was one position group Michigan State's football team believes could be a difference maker this upcoming season, it's the wide receivers. Nick Marsh established himself as the top guy for the Spartans after a stellar freshman season last year. And then MSU went out and got 4 players from the transfer portal this offseason. Amari Kelly from Middle Tennessee State, Krishawn McCray from Kent State, Evan Boyd from Central Michigan, and Rodney Bullard from Valdosta State. The Spartans believe they have one of the more dynamic receiver rooms they have had, and it's how we continue our conversation with Smith this week. When building that part of this team throughout the offseason, what was sort of the mindset of what you guys needed for the receivers?
Well, we needed to complement Nick Marsh. I mean, Nick Marsh is a good special player, and so you've got to get some other guys where he's not going to just live and get double teamed the whole time, which I think we did. We were able to add 4, really 6 in January to create more competition. You look at the variety of skill set, was pleased with that. Some guys a little bit shorter, the real juice. Some guys a little bit taller, body catching radius, so to be able to complement that. And so a lot of guys too that arrived, just proven. They had done it at the college level, had stats of catches, a lot of tape, things of that nature. And so I'm hopeful, that position room can be a strength for us.
When you have a guy like a Nick Marsh who is poised, it seems like, to have a big season, I guess what is sort of the expectation with him going into his sophomore year?
Yeah, I mean, to have a big season, but also we want to win some games, and there's going to be some times where if they're going to choose to take maybe Nick away, whether it's coverage-wise, recognition, we have got to have some answers away from him. Nick's great in regards to he's so focused on himself improving, and they're not worried about his stats. He wants to win games, and so whatever we got to do that. Yes, do we want him to have a great year, stats and touches? Yeah. At the same time, whatever's going to be the best way to score, we're going to do that.
Selfishly, as someone who works in this area and covers a lot of the high school sports, I do want to ask about 2 of the East Lansing guys. With first Evan Boyd, I guess he kind of touched on the big body guys you brought into the receiver room. What he brings?
Yeah, he had a great spring. He came in here, learned the scheme pretty well, and he made a lot of plays through spring. Smart, he got ability to move him with a couple of spots, not just staying at one position the whole time. With the catching radius, he can make contested catches. I think he's got great instinct as well of separation, sitting in holes. He's been a great addition.
And then with Jace Clarizio, obviously, he's a true freshman, but I guess what have you been so impressed about with him so far?
I think Jace has grown since arrival in January to where he's at now. And because, look, this is a step up, big time college football, the demands, time management, the work ethic it takes. He has really grown, and he was having a big time fall camp. Had a bunch of runs. He's learned. Just watch him. He's got great speed. He likes to get outside on the edge and get to the corner. Sometimes you need to be able to stick it up in there in the middle, and he's had multiple reps of doing that this fall camp.
What have you liked too about that running back room as a whole?
I think we got some talent, and that's been a competitive room because again, we don't have a returning starter there. They did a nice job this last scrimmage in carrying the ball. Mekhi Frazier carries and catching the ball in the backfield. Brandon had some good physical runs. He scored a couple times. So we feel like we've got some depth there, and we need more than just one at running back, going back to having depth in this league.
So please join me in welcoming Michigan State's next Director of Athletics, our 21st Director, Jay Batt.
This offseason was pretty big for the athletic program here at Michigan State with Jay Batt being hired as the new athletic director. What have your conversations been like with him, and how have things been going with Jay?
Yeah, been going good. I think he's innovative. He has some clear pictures of how he wants to continue to push the athletic program to be one of the best around. Alignment in regards to leadership is vitally important, especially in this ever-changing landscape. I think Jay is in, not just all on football, but truly still the college experience for these athletes, but competing at the highest level.
How have you had to change to this new changing landscape of football?
Yeah, I think you got to be a little fluid. I'll say it this way: you're always adjusting, right? And the landscape is moving, but not losing your soul or your foundational pieces. Is still kind of having an environment where guys are growing, developing, understanding. These guys are 18 to 22, not just straight commodities. Even though there is a compensation factor now, but you're always adapting and changing to the landscape without losing some of the foundational pieces.
Last month or so, you guys have been so focused on fall camp. Now you're starting to see kids return to campus, the band playing. Yeah. I guess, do you feel that excitement brewing?
Without question, the band practices right outside my office window, so that adds it. You see so many students moving in to the dorm this week, and so there's a little bit of buzz and getting closer. What
have you learned about Spartan Nation that's something that maybe you didn't expect last year, that's something you learned this offseason?
Well, you felt just the passion for the place, passion for football, but definitely other sports, and the real pride that Spartans have in the football program, and we want to get this thing to a place they're continue to be proud of it.
This year's team, compared to last year's team, features a lot more players who came to East Lansing because of this coaching staff. It's why the coaches believe this is a more connected group than a season ago. Coming up after the break, we're going to be sitting down with one of the oldest players on the team who was actually recruited by Mark D'Antonio and is fully bought into this new staff. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
In year 2 under Jonathan Smith and his staff, there's a greater comfort level and familiarity around the football facility. But one player who has been a familiar face long before Smith arrived in East Lansing is linebacker Darius Snow. Our Tyler Driesenga recently sat down with Snow and has more on his perseverance through a roller coaster of an MSU career.
Darius Snow has just about seen it all at Michigan State. He's played for 3 head coaches, none of which initially recruited him. He's played for 5 position coaches and 3 defensive coordinators. He's endured a pandemic and serious injury.
Anybody goes through something tough, I can speak from my own experience. It always means something different when you can speak from your own experience when I'm trying to help them out. But I mean, otherwise, there's been highs, there's been lows. But you know, the great thing about it is I'm blessed to still be able to play this game, and I have another opportunity this year. I'm looking forward to take full advantage of it.
Snow is back for his 6th season with the Spartans and attacks each day with gratitude after all he's been through.
Faith shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence of things we cannot see. Hebrews 11:1. I think that I like to say I try to live by that approach, especially nowadays, because you know, with this game and with everything, you know, you cannot be playing tomorrow. I mean, you cannot be living tomorrow. So it's about believing that everything that has happened, is happening, will happen, was supposed to happen.
The son of MSU basketball great Eric Snow and nephew of MSU football great Percy Snow, Darius committed to the Spartans back in 2019 under Mark D'Antonio. D'Antonio retired just before Snow got to campus. His freshman year was marred by the COVID-19 pandemic. There was no spring ball, fall camp was shortened, and the Spartans played just 7 games. His sophomore year, he took a huge leap, starting 9 games for the 11-2 Peach Bowl champion.
And it's intercepted. Darius Snow picks it off for the Spartans.
The thing about 21 that made us special is a lot of those guys, one, yes, they're talented, but I mean, we had a lot of friendships outside of just being here every day. I see that a lot with this team. That's why I think this team can be great.
Everything was looking up for Snow, and then the coaching staff wanted him to change positions in the spring of 2022.
What were those conversations like? Why was that something that you were open to trying?
Oh, I wouldn't necessarily say it was my idea.
It wasn't that open to trying.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm always looking forward to helping the team. The way it was explained and how I kind of saw it, was an opportunity for me to kind of take the next step in my personal game, be more versatile, show more versatility, and obviously my end goal is to play professionally, and that's a position that I definitely have a great chance of playing professionally. So a lot of factors played into it, but I mean, the spring was a great learning experience for me because I really hadn't ever actually played linebacker like that before, and fall camp until the next step, was able to start the first game. Obviously, you know what happened after that.
What happened after that was a serious leg injury in the first half of the season opener. After months of learning a new position and building up anticipation, his season was over as quickly as it started.
I think the hardest thing for me earlier on was because I had gotten to a point during that camp and with everything I kind of built up on of accomplishing my dream. And I had a great chance to go out and have a great year and be able to go play professionally. So I think that was the hardest thing to kind of grasp, that it was kind of like a reset. At the end of the day, for me personally, it was just about believing that everything was going to happen. Everything that was supposed to happen would happen. And it's been a long time, but we're still going.
That belief was tested again in 2023. After a grueling year of rehab, he returned to action in Week 3 against Washington. He played in 4 games until another injury derailed another season.
I'm a Christian man. I believe everything happens for a reason. And I think that there's lessons in everything that does happen. Sometimes it just takes you a minute to find them out. So I learned a lot. I was able to kind of approach life differently.
Was there any point where you considered calling it a day and quitting football, or did that never really cross your mind?
I think there was a moment where I actually spoke to my dad, pretty private conversation about it. But one thing that he said, and I'm sure I've said it before, you never want to stop doing anything when you feel like you still can do more.
The 2023 season ended with another coaching change, and Snow entered the transfer portal. But Jonathan Smith and the new staff convinced him to return, and he enjoyed an injury-free 2024.
The first thing, early impressions, right, is what kind of player are they? And he had some athleticism, multiple positions, played in the back end, could play physically in linebacker, learn more of his story. You talk about well-rounded from the school side, the type of teammate he was, and then yes, on the football and the football IQ. Smart player, can play a couple of positions, special teams value, so we're really glad he's here.
I think adaptability is probably second to availability when it comes to sports, because at the end of the day, if you can't be adaptable, you really become fit to a specific system or a specific area, and it doesn't allow you to really grow. And at some point, you're going to get passed by.
Through every setback, position switch, and coaching change, Snow has adjusted to new circumstances and charted a path forward. A 6th-year senior is rare enough, But 6 years at one school in the transfer portal era? Snow's uncommon story shows the value of learning to love a place through good times and bad.
There's nothing in life that's perfect. That goes for sports, life, profession, relationships. It's about accepting the flaws for what they are, dealing with them, and then working to grow from them. So, I mean, nothing's perfect. Nothing is perfect. No place is perfect. I know that, and I'm not expecting it to be perfect. But just then again, at the same time, nothing ever gets better if it's not put under pressure, and it's not hard. So, like I said before, I've grown not just as a player, but as a person here. So those are things that I'll take with me for the rest of my life, and I'll always be able to say that, hey, I grew as a man at Michigan State.
Snow's injury in 2022 came against Western Michigan, the same opponent MSU will be opening this season against on Friday night. And he says it's a little bit of a full circle moment for him and a chance to show how he has battled through adversity over the course of his career. One player who also went through a little bit of adversity last season, quarterback Aiden Childs. We're going to be sitting down with QB1 right after the break.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
It's no question Michigan State quarterback Aiden Childs was hoping for a little more out of himself as a sophomore last season. Childs finished with 13 passing touchdowns and 11 interceptions, but as the now 19-year-old quarterback prepares for his junior season, he's confident things will look a lot different. The newest member of our department, Kara Adams, recently sat down with Childs to talk about his growth and what he learned last year as a sophomore.
Confident, connected, and committed. That's how Michigan State quarterback Aiden Childs describes this year's team.
3 C's, confident, connected, and committed. I believe that we share one goal, and we're all confident that we can achieve that goal and continue to grow from there.
But there was a time where this starting quarterback didn't always want to be at the helm.
I want to play receiver, just like my dad. My dad played receiver. I used to watch his highlights, stuff like that. I wanted gloves, I wanted to do everything what receivers did, and just like the flashiness of a receiver. But ended up taking a route at quarterback because of my dad.
And from that moment, that's where it all began. After an early high school graduation, 17-year-old Aiden found himself in Corvallis, Oregon, playing under Jonathan Smith.
I mean, I learned patience for sure, because I did want to get on the field at a young age, and it was just it was better for me to not play at when I got there. But at the same time, patience was the biggest thing, and also the process. We talk about it all the time. Just really going through the process, understanding your role as of right now, and really just taking it day by day, step by step.
And when Smith took the job at Michigan State, his path was clear. Come to East Lansing with him.
He sees us as people and not just football players, and I love that. My family loves them. He talks about, he asked me about my little brother, everything, my family life, everything. So it's just really cool to just have somebody you can talk to as a person and as a coach. And he also played quarterback, so it's a big deal. But following him here was a big deal simply because there was a time in fall camp where I wasn't doing so well my freshman year, and I went into his office and I just cried to him, and it was like, okay, also felt like I had to stick with him after that because I cried to a coach, you feel me? But it was more just he really listened to me and he understood what I was going through, and he talked me through things and helped me out with everything, and it just, the relationship grew from there.
Patience and process and the support of his parents all led him to the Mitten State.
I wouldn't be here without my parents. And just in general, my dad played football, grew up learning football from him. And then my mom, she's just with the manager side, basically. She does money, everything. She just manages everything around me. She helps me stay focused on school and football, and that's all I really need to focus on right now. And she's done a great job, and I truly appreciate her for sure.
And now he's ready to learn from last season.
In process, it's just okay, I had to learn from what happened last year, and it is what it is. So going into this year, just playing with that, also with another it is what it is attitude, and going out there having fun and doing what I know I can do.
And lead his team to the best of his abilities.
I just want to be the guy that people can look to when they see, when adversity hits. I want to be the guy that people understand that I know what's going on and I can lead them into the fire, and we can come out this without casualties, basically. Just come out here and continue to grow through any adversity we go through. the team is more conjoined. It's just a close-knit team, and we're continuing to grow each and every day. And it's just it's a beautiful thing to see everybody just being able to be with one and not get sick of each other as sometimes you would.
So that close-knit team can accomplish their goals.
We want to be remembered on a wall. We want to be put up somewhere. We want trophies with our names on them. That's what we talk about. We want to put our name on something, and that's what we want to do this year. We want to make sure that people know who we are and that we are the Spartans, and we came here to do what we said we were going to do, and we're going to go do it.
And he knows what he needs to do to get his team there.
You know, take your time, continue to grow each and every week, and enjoy the process. You know, last year it was hard for me to enjoy the process, you know, losing games and not doing as well as I know I could have. It was hard for me, but in general, just go out there and play, have fun, play free how you know how to play, and just go let it loose.
This is the first episode of Season 5 of the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show. We'll have shows every week at this time throughout the football season and then again throughout basketball and hockey season, giving you the latest on Michigan State athletics here in East Lansing. So, as always, we hope you enjoyed this week's show, and we'll catch you next week.
Now, the play of the week, sponsored by Chupan & Sons.
On Sunday, the Michigan State women's soccer team hosted Dayton for its home opener, and with just over a minute remaining in the game, Kennedy Zorn, a freshman, made a stellar save for the Spartans to keep the Flyers off the board.
This one sent in. What a save! Another beautiful play on the ball.
When you're shopping, do you get cash back with cash?
Nope.
What about when you use a debit card?
Not a chance.
But when you use MSU FCU's Cashback Plus?
Heck yeah!
Get up to 20% cash back on your purchases with Cashback Plus. Dining out? Cash back. Online shopping? Cash back. Home improvement? Cash back. Discover more at msufcu.org/cashbackplus.